Paper Jam, a spoof in the spirit of the not-so-secret agent. Chapter 1. Return of the Blunder. The morning sun gleamed off the MI6 building as Simon Bonk, international agent of mild inconvenience, stumbled through the front door, tangled in his own trench coat. He spun once, twice, and ended up colliding with a filing cabinet, sending classified papers fluttering through the air like snow. "Good morning, Miss Coinwealth," he announced proudly, brushing off a stack of documents marked Top Secret, Do Not Touch. "Care to hear a joke?" Miss Coinwealth, ever the portrait of professional exhaustion, didn't look up from her desk. "Not particularly, Mr. Bonk." "Well, it's about hand grenades." Her eyes flicked up, unimpressed. "Is it explosive?" Bonk grinned. "Only in delivery." There was silence, then a long, tired sigh as she went back to typing. Bonk chuckled to himself. Tough crowd. Chapter 2. The briefing chief, Honcho Heel, was already mid-headache when Bonk burst into his office without knocking. "Bonk!" barked Honcho Heel. "Do you ever use a door handle like a normal person?" "Of course, sir, though I find them unnecessarily judgmental." "Sit down," said Honcho Heel. Bonk tried. The chair rolled away and he sat on the floor instead. "Your mission, Bonk, is dire," began Honcho Heel, rubbing his temples. "An evil mistress by the name of Madame Barkwood has stolen a prototype weapon from scientists in Jamaica. It's been genetically engineered to set fire to paper." Bonk frowned. "Paper, sir?" "Yes, Bonk. Paper. Rather specific, isn't it? Their plan, apparently, is to burn all paper on Earth to save the trees, or something equally idiotic." "Environmentally menacing," Bonk nodded solemnly. "They're literally fighting fire with fire." Honcho Heel groaned. "You're to infiltrate their base of operations in Moscow and put a stop to it. Report to Barnaby Gizmo for your gadgets. And Bonk, yes, sir. Try not to burn down Moscow." Bonk saluted, accidentally knocking over a mug of coffee onto Honcho Heel's paperwork. "Right away, sir." Chapter 3. Gadget Nonsense. Down in the MI6 laboratory, Barnaby Gizmo was elbow-deep in a tangle of wires when Bonk arrived. Sparks flew, something exploded in the corner. "Bonk!" Gizmo called, goggles askew. "Perfect timing. You're just in time to test my latest triumphs of unnecessary engineering. Should I put on a helmet this time?" "Only if you value your eyebrows." Gizmo grinned, producing a silk handkerchief. "Blow into this and it emits a sonic blast that will deafen anyone nearby. Think of it as a brass instrument of chaos." Bonk examined it. "Looks like something my mother would embroider. It's versatile," Gizmo continued enthusiastically. "And this." He held up a skipping rope. "When you start skipping with it, it hypnotizes anyone watching." Bonk blinked. "You're certain this isn't a children's birthday party kit?" "Science, Bonk. It's all science." Bonk carefully pocketed both gadgets. "Any chance of something normal, like a gun?" "Don't be ridiculous," said Gizmo as a toaster caught fire behind him. Chapter 4. Moscow Mayhem Bonk arrived in Moscow under his usual guise, an overconfident tourist in a fur hat far too large for his head. The air was cold, the vodka was strong, and the mission was already off to a confusing start. He slipped into a sleek underground bar to rendezvous with his contact, a female CIA agent known only as Agent Scarlet Finch. She was poised, professional, and looked like she'd been trained in 17 martial arts. Bonk tried his best to look equally suave, which unfortunately made him look like a man with a cramp. "Agent Bonk," she said coolly. "The British sent you?" "Yes," Bonk replied, attempting a wink. "They said I was the only man qualified." "Qualified for what?" He paused. "I didn't ask." She arched an eyebrow. "Let's focus on the mission." As she reviewed the plans, Bonk leaned closer. "You know," he said in what he thought was a seductive tone, "they call me Simon Bonk. Licensed to thrill." Without looking up, she replied, "I doubt anyone's ever been thrilled by you." Bonk deflated slightly. "Well, not yet." Chapter 5. Tea Interrupted. Trying to recover from his failed attempt at charm, Bonk turned to the bartender. "A cup of tea," he said with conviction. "White, not black." The bartender nodded and began to prepare it. Just as the cup reached Bonk's hand, the entire bar shook. The ceiling cracked, alarms blared, and a group of Barkwood's henchmen stormed in wielding flamethrowers shaped like watering cans. Bonk dove for cover, spilling his tea before taking a single sip. "Every single time," he muttered. Agent Finch flipped a table for cover. "Bonk, do something!" Bonk whipped out the handkerchief, blew into it, and unleashed a shriek so loud that every henchman dropped their weapon and clutched their ears. Unfortunately, Bonk was also within range and immediately went partially deaf. "What?" he shouted to Finch. "I said run!" she yelled back. "Yes! Fun!" Chapter 6. The Barkwood Confrontation. They chased the trail to an abandoned paper mill outside Moscow, now transformed into Madame Barkwood's lair. Inside, machines churned out fiery paper, and the air reeked of singed stationery. Madame Barkwood stood atop a platform in a gown made entirely of shredded novels. "Ah, Monsieur Bonk," she purred in a vaguely European accent. "You are too late. Soon, all the paper in the world shall burn, even your Queen's stationery. Not if I have anything to say about it," Bonk declared heroically, before stepping on a puddle and slipping flat on his back. He scrambled up, grabbed his skipping rope, and began skipping furiously. The rhythmic movement caught the attention of Barkwood and her guards. Within seconds, they were all swaying dreamily, eyes glazed over. Bonk stopped skipping, panting heavily. "That's quite the workout." Finch rolled her eyes and pressed a button to overload the paper-burning generator. The machine exploded spectacularly, showering the room with confetti-like ash. Barkwood screamed, "No, my recyclable empire," before being carried away by authorities. Chapter 7. Back in Blighty. Bonk stood once more in Chief Honcho Wheel's office, proudly reporting his victory. "So," Honcho Wheel said slowly, "you destroyed a secret lab, hypnotized half of Moscow, and caused a diplomatic incident involving paper mills." "Yes, sir," Bonk said cheerfully, "and not a single tree was harmed." Miss Coinwilth appeared at the door. "You've got 32 expense claims for cups of tea, Mr. Bonk." Bonk sighed. "Still haven't managed to drink one yet." Chief Honcho Wheel groaned. "Bonk, get out of my sight." "Of course, sir." As Bonk turned to leave, his handkerchief slipped out of his pocket. He bent to pick it up, blew into it accidentally, and deafened everyone in the room. Final scene. Outside MI6, Bonk adjusted his tie and smiled at the London skyline. Another mission complete, another beverage undrunk. Somewhere, another villain was surely plotting something stupid. And when they did, MI6 would send their man. Well, their available one.